Welcome to this explainer. I am so incredibly excited to dive into this with you today. We're going to unpack a really fascinating mathematical journey using slides based on some awesome insights from John's Money Adventures. We're looking at a strategy that literally turns what feels like pocket change into an absolute retirement engine. So grab a coffee, get focused, and let's explore exactly how the magic of compounding can radically change your financial future.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. 1. The $25 weekly problem. 2. The drip snowball effect. 3. Filters for dividend success. 4. The 5-stock portfolio. And finally, 5. The 30-year wealth timeline. Let's get right into it.
So I want to pose this question right out of the gate. Is it actually possible to build a $5,032 per month income stream with just $25 a week? I know, right? It sounds completely impossible. Honestly, it kind of sounds like a gimmick, but I promise you the numbers we're going to explore today will prove exactly how this works. It's not magic, it's just incredibly disciplined math.
Section 1. The $25 weekly problem. Retiring on a tight budget.
So here's our case study's main dilemma. John wants to retire one day and see monthly income hit his account like the paychecks literally never stopped coming. We all want that security, right? But he doesn't have a massive pile of upfront cash to invest. He only has $25 a week to spare. And because his budget is that small, traditional investing just isn't going to cut it. To reach his goal, he's forced to use a highly specific compound growth strategy.
Moving to Section 2. The drip snowball effect. The engine of compounding.
Now, this introduces the foundational mechanic that makes this entire strategy possible. DRIP. That stands for Dividend Reinvestment Plan. This right here is the crucial difference between merely getting paid for your investments and actually growing them exponentially. See, instead of taking your dividend as a cash payout to go spend, you automatically use it to buy more shares of the exact same stock.
Let's walk through a simple comparison to vividly illustrate how this plays out. On side 1, say you have $2,000 invested in 100 shares, and it pays $1 per share in dividends. You take your $100 cash. Great. But look at side 2. You use that $100 to buy 5 more shares, so now you have 105 shares. Well, the next year, those 105 shares pay you even more dividends, which buys even more shares. You go to 110, then 116, then 122 shares. It creates this self-feeding snowball that grows massive over 30 years. And the crazy part? It happens all without you adding a single extra dollar of your own money.
But let's be real for a second. DRIP on its own is actually a bit too slow, especially with a tiny starting balance. It takes a solid decade to really feel it. So John adds a secret layer, the two-engine strategy. Step 1, he continuously invests that $25 weekly to buy new shares immediately. Step 2, he reinvests all the dividends those shares produce to automatically buy even more. Running these two engines simultaneously, that is exactly what completely changes the math for a small budget.
Section 3. Filters for dividend success. Protecting the snowball.
Because here's the inherent danger. Chasing a massive 9% yield is a total trap if a struggling company hits a rough patch and cuts the payout. I mean, if your dividends stop, your engines completely die. So before picking any single stock, every choice must survive 4 rigorous filters to ensure the dividend never disappears. First, blue-chip defensive anchors. These are huge companies that survive recessions. Second, dividend aristocrats. You know, companies that have raised their dividend every single year for at least 25 straight years. Third, a dividend ETF anchor for instant diversification across roughly 100 screened companies. And finally, a growth-oriented stock to act as the engine with incredibly fast dividend growth.
Which brings us to Section 4, the 5-stock portfolio, the specific assets doing the heavy lifting.
First up is a bit of a controversial pick, United Health. This is our defensive healthcare anchor. Now yes, it has faced lawsuits and negative headlines recently, causing the price to pull back hard. But actually, that pullback is exactly what makes the math work for a new investor today. Despite the noise, UNH offers a 2.24% yield, a fantastic 10.75% annual share appreciation, and an incredible 16.02% dividend growth rate. That makes it the perfect defensive anchor that frankly beats almost every other blue chip out there. Next up, we have Home Depot. This is our retail dividend grower. Home Depot really separates itself from most growth-oriented stocks because of its incredibly consistent, decade-long dividend increases. It delivers a really solid 3.13% yield, an impressive 14.14% dividend growth, and 8.2% annual share appreciation. Our third pick brings something the first two don't, a 27-year streak. ADP is, well, it's a boring payroll software company. But you know what isn't boring? A recession-proof aristocrat. Think about it. Through the dot-com bust, 2008, the pandemic, companies still had to run payroll, right? It yields an excellent 3.17%, which is actually the highest of any individual stock here, paired with a 12.25% dividend growth.
Fourth on the list is SCHD. This ETF acts as a massive safety net. It automatically covers your blind spots by holding about 100 dividend-paying companies that have all been rigorously screened for cash flow and quality. It provides instant diversification on autopilot and offers the highest starting yield in the entire portfolio at a massive 3.32%, right alongside over 10% dividend growth.
And finally, the curveball, Morgan Stanley. Nobody usually puts this investment bank on a dividend list, well, until they look closely at the math, and this brilliantly illustrates exactly why we use our filters. While the starting yield seems a bit small at 2.08%, it has an explosive 20.89% dividend growth rate. That compounds faster than almost any other blue chip. And when you pair that with over 16% annual share appreciation, it is an absolute growth monster for the portfolio.
So what happens when we break down the math and spread John's $25 evenly, just $5 a week, across all 5 assets? We create a beautifully balanced, high-octane growth engine. The blended average gives us a 2.79% starting dividend yield, a massive 14.75% dividend growth rate, and a 10.42% annual share appreciation. It's the precise combination of these 3 metrics that drives literally every single dollar that comes next.
Section 5. The 30-year wealth timeline. Watching the math play out.
Okay, let's guide you along this timeline. Year 1, you just have $1,300. It's basically just your contributions. By year 10, the compounding starts showing up at over $25,000. But look at year 20. The portfolio reaches $135,131. At this point, the market is literally adding tens of thousands of dollars more to the account every single year than John is even contributing. And by year 30, the snowball is completely unstoppable, landing at a staggering $760,788. But here's the most important number of all. By year 30, this portfolio generates $60,390 in annual dividends. Remember John's original problem? He needed monthly income on a tiny budget? Well, this perfectly solves it, providing $5,032 in purely passive monthly income.
Notice how that $760,788 breaks down. The tiny slice of actual out-of-pocket money, John's $39,000 in total contributions over 30 years, is completely dwarfed by the massive slices of capital appreciation at over $411,000 and reinvested dividends at over $310,000. That right there is the true power of running those 2 compounding engines side by side.
Which brings us to the end of this explainer. And I want to leave you with this thought. If a mere $25 a week, money you might easily spend on a few coffees or a fast food meal, can methodically snowball into a $760,000 retirement paying you over $5,000 a month, what could your first weekly contribution start building today? The math is sitting right in front of you. The only missing variable here is time. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy building.